All right, hello, Pastor Julian here, your empowered pastor. And I want to first say thanks for clicking on this video. I want to deal with the concept that we talk a lot about when it comes to business or our marketing or our job performance or whatever. And this whole concept of the long debate about which one is more important, skill set or mindset. Skill set, rather, the tools or the knowledge you have, the skills that you've accumulated to perform a job or a task, or the mindset of how you, in your mind, think about how you perform with your skill set. Which one is more important? So I want to talk about this. I want to tackle this a little bit, and I also want to come from a kind of a biblical perspective on this as well. So which one is more important, the skill set or the mindset? And I come to realize that they're both very important to have. You got to have a skill set, first of all, because skill set is what you use as your tools, as your talents, your gifts, your skills, or whatever that is, in order to make money. You need to have the skill in order to do the job and do it well. So you need to have a strong skill set, or no one will want to use you to perform the task. Now, where the mindset comes in, a lot of people have whole lot of mindset. Can you have mindset without skill set? I don't think so. But I do believe that once you have a solid skill set, if you bring a good, strong mindset in there, it helps you to expand from where you are. Let me give you a kind of example of this. I remember after working about 15, 16 years in my IT profession, IT project manager, web design, all those different things I had underneath my belt. I went to a job fair where I was actually trying to become a part-time instructor at a college, and so went there, stood in this long line of about 2 hours. All these people there with their resumes, had my resume in hand. When I finally got to the place where they set down the resume, the lady looked at my resume, who was recruiting, and she said, "Hey, you're able to do quite a bit of things. You do IT, you can do business, you can do marketing, you can do web design, you can teach all these different areas." And what's interesting, and the light bulb came up to me, is she saw more in myself than I saw in myself. She saw more in me than I saw in myself, which was weird. And I started thinking about this too. All of us are standing in this line asking for a job so they can use the skills that we already have. So they're using their mindset to gather all these people who had the skill set to work for them. And so it made me think about this. I said, wait a minute. If they need my skill set, then they need me more than I need them. And maybe it's not a skill set issue. Maybe it is a mindset issue because I already had the skill set. So, hey, let's look at this in the scripture, because I know a lot of times we think about this and we're like, well, what do we do? You have a skill set. Do you know what you really have? And do you have the mindset to help you expand on that? So I want to go to the scripture here and kind of share something that I saw in the Revelation when a revelation God gave me inside of the scripture when I read this again. So let's go to Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 through 4 right here. It says, "And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, The Lord had not appeared unto thee. And the Lord said unto him, What is in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And Lord said unto Moses, Put forth thine hand, take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, he took it by the tail, caught it, and it became a rod in his hand again. And I want to skip down to the 17th verse. All right. It says, And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. Now, what I want to talk about is this. All right. So God calls Moses to go and deliver his people. And so Moses is like, well, how are they going to believe me? But why would they believe me? Why would they take on anything I have to say? Why would they listen to anything I have to say? But God saw more inside of Moses than he saw in himself. And he said, well, Moses, what's in your hand? Well, it's a rod. Well, you're going to use this rod to do miracles. So he says, take the rod, throw it on the ground. He throws it on the ground. It becomes a serpent. He picks the rod up again. It stops being a rod again. A serpent, turns right back into a rod. Okay. So what happens? He shows him that he can do miracles with the staff or the rod that he already had in his hand. Down to the 17th verse, it says, you shall take this same rod and do miracles that I show you. The moral of the story is this: Moses already had the power. He already had the skill set, rather, in his hand. He just didn't realize what he had, but God did. And so God said, listen, you're going to use the skill set, the power that you already have to perform miracles. Now get this, Moses at this time about 80 years old. Now remember, he was in Egypt for 40 years learning all the technological advances of Egypt at the time, because at the time, in this particular part of the Bible, in the region, Egypt was the far more advanced society. So he had 40 years under the tutelage of the most advanced society of the time in Egypt. Then another 40 years in the wilderness, learning how to be a shepherd, learning how to lead a sheep in the wilderness. So God saw the skill set of him being trained by the Egyptians and the skill set of him learning how to be a shepherd. He was going to combine these two skill sets and use him to deliver his people. The problem was not his skill set. The problem is Moses did not have the mindset to know what he already had on the inside of him. So God had to show him, listen, Moses, is already in your hand. All you have to do is use what's already in your hand. Maybe you are one of those people who have a whole lot of skill set, a whole lot of years of knowledge inside of you to perform a skill, but you have not expanded your mind to the place to where you can actually perform the task and benefit for yourself and for God's people. Well, it's time for you to not just sit on your skill set, but expand your mindset to do the work of God in this day, in this time, for God's pleasure and to expand his kingdom. All right. So be the pray and ask God, say, Lord, come in, show me, reveal to me what it is you want me to do with the skill set I already have. His answer to you is, it's already in your hand. It's already in your hand. All right. So I hope this video has been a blessing to you. Hope that you have received or been empowered by something that we said here on today. Remember to like, share, comment on this video. Send it to someone that you think that this might help or empower or encourage. Okay. And until the next video, you be empowered.